interests of time management, Manish, can I request you to keep your presentation to about 8 to 10 minutes? So
Sure,
that,
sir.
there's enough time. You're already.
Distinguished eminent panels members, Mr. Chandrasekhar, dear audience, and my friends from Gods of Own Country. So, I am definitely going to take the feedback from Mr. Chandrasekhar on my designation part of it, but it has been quite interesting to be part of this specific event, wherein two of the very eminent people who are involved in one of the very effective transformational projects are sitting in the panel itself. I would definitely like to point out, as Mr. Chandrasekhar has already pointed out, in terms of Passport Seva project, and definitely the UIDAI part, Mr. Dalwai is there. So, whenever we are interacting with any of the clients across the world, normally the question comes to me, or us, many of us, that you have been doing large system integration projects, large transformational projects in your country, and what's your learning? Is there any best practices you have found out, or best practices you have deployed, or best practices you have conceived, which can be deployed over here, and we can take the benefits of this? Believe me, friends, we have got an immense learning in implementation of the projects of this nature in this huge country with huge diversity and own sets of problems. At the end of the day, it's very heartening to see that with all the sets of problems, all the sets of challenges, all the sets of criticism, the project like Passport Seva has seen the light of the day. And it's definitely a huge learning for us. From this forum, I would request Mr. Chandrasekhar, who is from NASSCOM, that at least for private industries, we should have a repository of the best practices which we have evolved or which we have conceived in implementing these e-governance projects. So with this, I am opening my presentation. The best practice of the presentation is that you need to keep your slide limited to 3 only. So I have got 3 slides presentation with me. So maybe I will finish up before 8 minutes. All said and done, it's a best practice with Japanese deployed. Sometimes even I have given a presentation to my Japanese clients, and their point is that, if you are unable to make your point within 3 slides, either you don't have any or you miss it. Even the attention span of the people is also very limited. So that's why I've limited my presentation to the 3 slides. But I've tried to concise my experience, concise my company's experience, and try to share this experience with you. So definitely it's a best practice. My agenda is just slide number 1, slide number 2, and slide number 3. The title is The Menace of Delhi. I belong to Delhi. And sometimes I found it quite amazing that city like Delhi has got its own set of problems. In the last presentation, we learned about the traffic congestion. It is one of the menace of the Delhi. But let me bring out a very, very unique menace of Delhi, which is this gentleman. While I go to North Block, South Block, that Raisina Hills area, the power center of India, I found a lot of these people roaming around there. And even some of them have got guts to peep inside the parliament also. one of the strongest armies headquarters, which is situated over there, they are unable to take care of this menace. In fact, there was a parliament question in Rajya Sabha about this menace. So I've tried to highlight it. But objective of this particular slide is that what is the best practice which was deployed over there to take care of this menace? And of course, this is the traditional best practice. Of course, there is a next practice also over here. There are certain supersonic sounds which needs to be created which can take care of this, this menace. But next practice need not be the best practice. Because next practice will have certainly its limitations. Unless it's a proven. We normally say that there are two types of technologies available. One is the state of art and other one is the proven one. So this is the proven one. Of course, we are trying to find out the state of art. The point which I'm trying to make, that the best practice of the century is, which is an unwritten practice, it's not necessary that it's always documented or stamped by certain organization. It is available among us. And what we have seen over the presentation in last 2 days, a presentation from Kerala, a very impressive presentation. In fact, Kerala has got a distinguished, Kerala is pioneer in many of the firsts. And I could see a good amount of e-governance project implemented, whether it is in education area or whether it is in transport area or whether it is in citizen service area. So definitely the solution has come out with us. Yesterday, Madam Praveen was there. She was talking about a typical problem in Jammu and Kashmir about the Service Selection Board and how uniquely it was handled. It was just handled by common sense, a sense of ownership, and a little intervention of the technology. So it's always a myth that the best practice is always documented, stamped, and approved. It need not be. So we should not shy away from applying this best practices in our daily implementation schedule, and which we have been doing that. And the fact is that the next practice need not be the best practice. So these are the people. People will remain always in the core of the best practice, what we practice, especially in our organization, and what we see in e-governance projects. The success factors is highly dependent upon the leaders and the people who are driving the projects. It's very important to identify the people on both the sides, on implementation side and in the government side, and make them responsible and make them feel responsible about the project. There are many best practices which is surrounding this people, technology, and the process area, and many of them has been converted into standards also. We have seen many standards. We have deployed these standards in many of the e-governance projects also. The point is that after deployment, the sustenance becomes a challenge because the skill sets which is required to sustain these kind of standards, or which is required to further dwell upon these kinds of standards, are still missing. So these are the standards which started as the best practice in topmost companies, and they gave us a superior result. Once they gave us a superior result, it changed. These practices changed into the standards, and people started following it up. India as a country has close to somewhere around 40,000 ISO certification. The industries have got close to 40,000 ISO certification, and we are still 8th in the world. So I would like to highlight the practices in e-governance, the best practice which normally government deploys, or normally the implementation, or the RFP says that we should deploy these best practices. And even if the RFP doesn't say that, many of the private system integrators deploy these practices. So use of social media, I think it's a very, very powerful tool. I'm not going to dwell much upon this because we have already talked about this. But somehow this will remain a very, very effective tool for governance in times to come. If we make it more interactive, if we make this thing more accountable, I think it can be a very, very strong tool to do the governance. Good governance, social media and mobile. But at the same time, we should take a little care in this, because social media is always a double-edged sword. It has got its pluses and it has got its minuses also. So one of the very interesting analysis which we are doing, that how social media was used in creating a rumor in Bangalore. We did it with the police, Bangalore police, this analysis, and some of the very, very interesting facts came out of this. So we should be very, very cautious in using this media, in connecting with citizens, in connecting with other stakeholders. The practice of using citizen call center, I have yet to see, we still yet to see a lot of call centers over there. But I think once citizens say that it's my one-stop shop for all the problems, if that feeling comes, I think we are near to the good governance. Of course, it has got other aspects also, that how do we sort the problems out in the back end. But a first point of contact, somebody talking to them, somebody responding to the citizen within a time frame, somebody assuring them that yes, your work will be done, somebody saying them that it will take so much time to do this work or to handle this complaint, I think half the battle is being won. Of course, we talked about the maximizing the use of technology, the analytical tool, social media, we talked about mobile, cloud, and of course, internet, the crowdsourcing part of it, which is going to come as the next practice. One of the things which I personally feel while executing this project is a requirement from the government side to have the quality assurance and the audit practice during implementation and sustenance phase. I see a whole lot of skill sets which is being demanded by the government, but somewhere I feel that quality part is missing. And that is where we will be able to create the best practices, and that is where we will be able to nail the projects wherever at the point where we are failing. It's a very, very important aspect. Governance through portal, we have very good examples. We talk about SSDG, we talk about national NSDG, but there is something known as the city portal also. In Brazil, in Latvia, and in many other countries, in Singapore also, the city portal is taking care of a lot of services which needs to be given to the citizens. And I think in this country, if we have got 500 plus odd cities, at least each city deserves one portal. Of course, we can give that ownership to the municipalities or any urban local bodies, that's a different matter over there. But each cities require a one portal. That is what we feel as a citizen over here. And of course, the public-private partnership is one of the best practices government is deploying. And the documentation part, culturally, this part is very, very weak as far as Indians are concerned, because culturally we don't believe in documenting many things. And that is where government is missing on the property right also. The source code has been given to the government, but due to the improper documentation, government is not able to use that source code. What is the use of source code? I inherit a source code developed by somebody else without the proper document. I can't do it. I have to throw it in the dustbin and start my development again. So this is the practice which needs an improvement. Now coming to the next practice, of course, one of the very important aspects is the sustainability, which includes environment, which includes inclusivity, and probably I have missed the corporate social responsibility part also over here. System and the best practices of values and ethics. I think we need to create this kind of awareness. Crowdsourcing, again, it's a very important or very prominent or widely accepted practice which is being deployed by many of the government, including the Singapore government, to develop some of the very innovative solutions. Risk management is again an area where I think a lot needs to be done. Good amount of practice can be developed over here, but we say that government is averse of risks, so that's why it's not being taken care in a holistic manner or in a holistic fashion. Security and safety, we have already decided a lot of security standards, best practice standards, even the safety standards related to data, related to your asset, related to intellectual property rights. This needs to be strengthened further. And what I feel, last but not least, the G2G integration, the government-to-government integration. In order to provide a very an effective G2C, government-to-citizen services, a very strong back-end integration of G2G is definitely required. If we see the life cycle development, I'm not comparing it. It's not fair to compare this large and diverse democracy with any of the countries in the world. But if we see the US part of it, the first level of IT automation came at G2G level. And there's a very strong level of integration at G2G. Maybe there might be the different reasons to it, maybe because of their social security numbers or XYZ reasons. But that is where they are able to provide an effective services to the citizens.
Mr. Manish Kumar, can I request you to just
Thank you. So this is my last slide, sir. Thank you very much for this. I will just conclude that best practices needs to be imbibed as a culture and needs a very high initial investment. We need to make note of this fact. So the world is looking towards the best practice of the governance from the most diverse and largest democracy. This is the statement which was issued to me by one of the international clients. With this, I close my presentation, and thank you very much, sir, for giving us the time.
Thank you. Thank you.